everyone, I'm Lee Hogan and welcome to this week's Rider Tip and what is our first Rider Tip for this season, brought to you by Fox Racing. Now we're going to start off with a relatively basic one, but it's something that every junior stepping up off the automatic 50 up to that 65cc, and what I'm referring to is the clutch and gears on these little 65cc bikes. We just happen to have one right here. The first thing that we need to try to remember stepping up to a 65cc is the throttle, the power, and what we refer to as the power band on these little two-strokes is extremely aggressive, and you need to be very, very smooth on the throttle application. Now, quite obviously, the next thing and the most important change is the fact that we've got a clutch and we've got gears. And the clutch is where it gets a little bit technical and where it always seems to bring these young riders undone. And one of the most important things that I recommend is to use 2 fingers on the clutch and not to use all 4. So if we can get Cam here to put 2 fingers on the clutch at the moment, pull it in nicely, that leaves these 2 fingers here to stay on the grip, which gives us a little bit of control of the motorcycle, but also 2 fingers on the clutch gives us enough control on that clutch. The trickiest part is actually getting them to release it nice and smooth. It takes a little bit of practice, but just getting them to get it to the point of where you feel the motorcycle starting to move and just keep it there and letting it out nice and slowly with enough power so that you don't stall your motorcycle. That's one of the main secrets in first learning how to take off on a little 65cc machine. A nice little drill that we try to get the kids to do so that they really get well practiced at doing this particular drill is they get a nice little flat area and we get them to just ease that clutch out nice and easy. They take off and they only go 2 meters before they ease those brakes on and come to a stop. And they do that 5 to 10 times, and it really is a quick and easy way to fast track your learning on how to be smooth on that throttle and clutch. I always recommend that when you start riding around, we keep those 2 fingers on the clutch at all times. If something goes wrong and we do panic, your natural instinct will be to pull that clutch in without even thinking about it. It's natural instinct. Now you might still have a tiny little crash, but it won't be a big massive one, that's for sure. What we want to try to work on now that we've got the clutch and the throttle right, we want to try to get some gear changes happening. So we start off in first gear with our nice little loops. And it's very important for the little guys when they're starting off with their gear changes, make sure you fully back off the throttle when you change up the gear. Because if you keep that throttle on and try to change up, there's going to be too much load on the engine and the clutch, makes it almost impossible to change up gears. So remember, back off and you'll find it'll slot in a lot easier. Now the kids will always find it a lot easier to change down gears. It's a lot more of a natural thing to just lift your boot up and bang it down a gear. Practice makes perfect, and just keep having a little bit of fun with it. That's what it's all about. Well, that completes our rider tip for this week. For those of you out there on the little 50cc machines, you've got the skills now to get out and get amongst it and do it in a nice, safe way. Remember, practice makes perfect. We'll see you next time.